Oh yeah, you definitely would. Oh my gosh, you look pretty comfortable today.
I'm on the. I'm in the bedroom on my bed on my phone because my computer is dying.
I was like,
All
you
my,
got your feet kicked up somewhere, don't you?
yeah, I do.
Uh, it's only fitting that you kick up your feet after this past weekend.
Oh man, yeah, it was. Well, you were there Saturday, so you saw.
Oh
Uh,
boy,
had a little bit of a crowd.
yeah,
People responded well.
yeah. We had a few friends stop by. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah, and you guys were right out there. I mean, you saw everybody come in. They had to come by you.
Oh man, it was amazing. Let's kick this bad boy off. Welcome to Zia Comic Weekly. We are here. No matter what the circumstances are, he will make it. Phone. If he had to do this via Twitter, he would have figured it out for y'all. Of course, getting ready to check in with you guys. What's up, Troy? How are you?
Well, I got to go to Best Buy today and get a new computer, but other than that, not bad.
So see, he's still making appearances, guys. So it
Yeah,
doesn't stop for him.
yeah. If you want to be at Best Buy around noon, you might actually see me.
There you go. See, look at that. He's got a meet and greet at Best Buy. So whoever wants to see him.
I'm signing for free.
Oh man. Remember, you guys can jump in on the conversation. Remember to leave us your comments. Don't forget to follow us on the socials. Without further ado, let's get it started. Ha- let's put together everything that happened this weekend with Las Cruces Comic Con. It was definitely people came out. What were your thoughts, Troy?
Well, we only got the exhibit hall. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm saying. We only got the exhibit hall because we were not sure if Las Cruces would come back to the event since it was gone for 5 years due to no fault of our own. So, we played it safe. We just got the exhibit hall. And let me tell you, Las Cruces has spoken. We have heard they want this event. So next year we're going to go bigger and better. Hopefully,
Yeah.
still at the convention center. We're meeting with them later today and going to try to bang out a contract for next year. And if they don't try to bend us over the table too bad, we'll have it right back at the convention center.
Nice, nice. And it was great to see everybody come out. Kudos to everybody who came up dressed to their finest.
Oh
Some
yeah,
great costumes, man. It was just, I mean, from the start, I mean, to get there the day one, just to see the line, it was amazing.
yeah. I mean, luckily we had the Southwest Mopar Society and Cruces Coffee and Cars set up out front, and the line snaked around through their area, so people weren't completely bored waiting. So they got to look at all the cool cars, and then when they got near the front, they ran into you guys and got to hear some music and jump in on the contest you guys were having.
Yeah, no, which by the way, congratulations to our winner Annette, who actually jumped in on the contest and won. They won a couple of gift cards, so it was pretty cool because they were just like, "What are you guys doing here?" I was like, "Here, stand right here. I'm gonna take a picture of you." And yeah, no, once it caught on, man, it was exciting, man, from start to even with the rain delay, it wasn't stopping anybody from coming out.
Oh, and that rain came down hard for a while. That was
We're still recovering from the rain. We will rebuild, Troy.
our well, almost half of the guests their flights were canceled through Dallas, and Dallas is a major hub.
Yeah.
So we had one of our guests didn't get home until Tuesday night
Ooh.
for delays and cancellations, and it was ugly. It was really
Yeah.
bad.
No, man, but overall, great. We all had a fun time out there. And then Gino, of course, he was excited because Gino didn't realize at the last minute we tried to keep it as much of a secret from Gino. He knew we were going to be involved with some of the panels, but he didn't realize at the last minute we were about, hey Gino, why don't you come stand right here? And Gino got to do the introduction for Ted DiBiase, which he was so stoked about it.
He's a big wrestling fan.
Oh man, you think I'm bad? He's worse. He's definitely got me beat when it comes to wrestling. And overall, man, and this was my first time, by the way, and I've mentioned this. This is my first actual Comic Con to go to. So to see how everybody just having a great time and just seeing so much fun and the panels, getting to see the Damon Clark panel, just it was great.
Yeah, it's nerd culture at its best. You're surrounded by like-minded nerds, and nobody's going to judge you uh, for being a nerd. So yeah, that was, and and Ted DiBiase is probably one of the premier heels in wrestling. So I mean, they sold him for the longest time as being the big bad in wrestling, and just listen to some of his stories because he wanted to do a panel on Sunday too, so we had to move things around and get him a panel. And yeah, some of his stories were really eye opening of how they used to do things.
Yeah. No, and it was I mean, there was also some sad moments in the panels because he's talking about a lot of his friends who are, I mean, these guys, went through so much, in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, and now they're up there in that age where they're just like, a lot of our friends are no longer here or we just can't do it anymore. I mean, you've been a professional wrestler your whole life, and then now you just stop.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like his stories from when it was used to be all regional wrestling,
Oh man.
and they just did a constant loop between Amarillo, Albuquerque, El Paso, uh, and Tucson, just that huge Southwest loop, and then they would start over again in the next week, and they paid for their own transportation, their own hotels. So yeah, I mean, just the way it used to be to the way it is now is
Yeah.
really, really crazy.
Yeah, and even see a connection. I didn't realize that, Ted, grew up not that far from where I'm from, grew up in Wilcox, Arizona. I didn't realize he
Yeah.
went to school there, which was like when he said that, I was like, "No way, are you kidding me?" And it's like, it's down I-10, man, it's not that far from here.
Yeah, he was telling me that I guess they have you probably know since you grew up around there, Rex Allen Days. And
Yes,
they got, now that he has a street named after him, Ted DiBiase Street. And he said there's talks of having a Ted DiBiase Day every year in Wilcox. That'd be something cool to go check out.
it would be nice to go to Wilcox and, have a Ted DiBiase day, and Wilcox not be the only place where I can just stop and get Popeyes at a gas station and keep going. That's right now, all I know Wilcox for is pull over at a gas station, get some Popeyes chicken, and keep going.
They're known for clean bathrooms.
Exactly. No offense to anybody that's from Wilcox, but I mean, I grew up in the area. We know what Wilcox is about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys, you do have Rex Allen Days, but that dude's. A lot of people don't know who he is anymore because he's one of the older actors.
Yeah.
But Ted DiBiase might bring him a little closer to current times.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need to update the current times and see what we can get out there. No, man, it was great. Just the panels, getting a chance to check out a lot of the vendors, just seeing some of the different artwork. I think that was the biggest thing for me was the artwork, and and I got to tell you, Troy, had a little bit of a moment where almost left. I saw a U.S. title that was for sale.
Ooh.
Oh boy, I was like,
Where's the
is
ATM?
this worth sleeping on the couch? I was like, "Can I hide this one from the wife?" Oh, and then I saw another championship belt that I think was signed by Bret Hart, so I'm like,
Ooh.
"I know, man." I'm like,
Uh,
"How do I
uh,
disguise this one on the credit card statement?"
that must be a wrong charge. I didn't buy that.
What do you mean $850? What are you talking about? I don't know what you No,
That's
there's
the one you
nothing in
have to
my
leave
office.
in the office there at work for a while.
Yeah, I was like, "No worry, don't worry, babe, I'll take care of the credit card this month. I got it, don't worry." Yeah. I mean, it'll be nicely displayed in my office, but
Yeah, yeah, you'd be eating ramen for a while.
oh, man, but no, man, it was great, and, the costumes, man, I've gotta tell this story. I had one person come up to me and ask, can I go inside with this?" And they pulled out this huge looking blade, and he says, "But it's dull." And I was like, it's still a knife, like, dull
Yeah,
or not." And I was like,
no.
Yeah.
And I think that guy probably emailed me too because that sounds like the same email I got. He said he had a real sword, but it was really dull, and he would put a plastic tip on it. I was like, "Yeah, dude, no,
Yeah.
the
No,
venue, I wouldn't allow it, but I'm positive the venue's not going to allow it." And yeah, they told him no. No.
Yeah, luckily, security and somebody at the venue even mentioned they're like, "No, you can't bring it." And so before they went in, they came to see us, and then he just showed us, which I was like, very impressive because he said he made it himself. But I'm just
Yeah.
also kind of like, wow, like
Now go put it back in your car.
he's like, please don't come back in with this. Because no, because then next year people will be like, oh, hey, Joey said that they could take that in. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Joey's not security.
I was like, Joey with the radio station.
Joey said
Joey
he
had
didn't care. Yeah. Why would he?
it's like, hey man, cool. I'll buy it from you, but I got $10. But yeah, no, you can't take that in there. No, but it was so cool, man, to see that. I even got ideas for my son. Like even like I bought him a Dragon Ball Z outfit out there. And so yeah, there's definitely there was something for everybody this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were gone before the costume contest happened, but some of the really good costumes came out later.
Mhm.
And wow, the costumes were just amazing.
So I saw one, and the Sun News posted quite a few pictures
Yeah.
from. There was one thing that we saw. I don't even know what it was that they were rolling in. What was that?
The big gold Dalek from
What?
Doctor Who.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah. Problem was they forgot to measure the doors. So if you didn't have double doors or the wider doors, he couldn't get it into the costume contest. It had to stay out in the hallway because it was too wide.
Oh, yeah. Well, we saw it rolling. By the way, kudos to them to pushing that uphill. And I was like, yeah, they're gonna get tired after a while. I don't know how they unloaded that. I don't know how they brought it, but they
Uh,
definitely went all out.
yeah,
So
it was a big one. There were a couple of large costumes. One dude was on stilts as a jack o' lantern type thing, and he had to duck down coming through the doors. So I mean, those big ones are awesome, but you guys need to take into account the doors, especially in the Cruces Convention Center. They just have the single doors going in those rooms, so
yeah.
you can't even take out the middle divider to get it in.
Well, yeah, and then where you guys had the costume contest, there was gonna be no way they were getting through that door. I mean, if I barely
No.
fit through that door, you're not getting that costume through that door.
Yeah, that was just a normal sized door, so you need to have normal either that or assemble your costume inside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Philip said that he saw that title that I was talking about, and he was tempted too.
Yeah, I think I know which booth you guys were talking about. He had a lot of wrestling stuff, and
Yeah,
there were a couple of title belts in there, and a couple of them were signed.
yeah,
And I think they actually sold by the end of the weekend. So
yeah. I'm just telling y'all now, I didn't buy it, okay?
well, I
'Cause
tell everybody if you see it and you want it, you better grab it because you probably won't see it again.
yeah, oh, no, man, especially the way that you had everybody set up, and it was just so cool, man, to see, and the funny thing about it too is that people were taking pictures with other people that were in costume, so it
Hmm.
just became this, like, "Oh, hey, I like your costume," and then just seeing pictures and then just seeing it on social media all weekend, how people were just posting and sharing just their experiences was so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we always say Saturdays for show and Sundays for dough. I mean, they all want to be seen on Saturday with their costumes, and Sunday they come to make their purchases.
Yeah. You got a chance on Friday night to, hang out with, some of the guests, how was that?
It was pretty good. Most of them showed up on Friday. A few of them showed up later, and I didn't get to catch them until Saturday. But we went over on Friday for the VIP party, and while they were setting that up, I looked over and there's Ted DiBiase just sitting at a table eating by himself. I was like, "Oh my God, that's Ted DiBiase." So we went over and introduced ourselves. Got a picture and talked with. He talked with us for about half an hour. And then, Joe Staten, the comic book artist, came down to the VIP party, and he sat with us for the whole night. And people were coming up and talking to him, and people loved. He was creator or co-creator of Huntress, and he did a lot of stuff with Dick Tracy and Green Lantern. So a lot of people from just about every age kind of has seen his comics. So,
Yeah.
and then the cosplayer Ashley Elliott, she showed up, and she did an amazing job hosting the costume contest for us. And uh, she's like a chameleon because when she came up to me at the VIP party, I had no idea who she was out of costume. And then every day her different costume was I still had to do a double take because she was just that good.
You know, Gino also got caught off guard by that because at one point she walked by and we're like, and he's like, wait, that's, he's like, what's that? And I was like, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
He's like, oh my God. He's like, "She's just walking by like nothing. I was like, yeah, well, I was like,
that's
if you don't pay attention, you're not gonna catch her.
yeah, you'll miss it.
Yeah, yeah, you will. One thing I thought was cool, Troy, and you're kind of breaking down, you know, from Comic Con to what went down this weekend at the box office. So we had the Voice of Cell that was there as well.
Hmm.
And then it turns out Dragon Ball's latest movie goes number 1 at the box office this
Yeah,
weekend. How crazy is that?
it was great timing.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have planned it better, man.
Yeah, and I wish I could say I planned it. That just it was just serendipity. But
I know.
he was great with the fans too. I mean, he was really outgoing, funny. I saw part of his panel with him and Chris George together, and those guys played off each other really well. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with them.
By the way, heads up, thanks for the heads up because I've never gotten a chance to, you know, to do the panel thing. And before we go in, you know, Troy tells me, he's like, hey, man, sometimes they want them. Sometimes they say, give me the mic, get out of the
Yeah,
way. Soon as we got in there, give me the mic, get out of the way. And those two were just phenomenal. They were hilarious. They were interactive. It was like a bunch of friends hanging out together. That's how cool it was. I was like, well, guess they don't need me, you, Jackie. So we'll just go ahead
yeah.
and step to the side. We did the Homer Simpson exit, like the
Just back into the woods. Yeah,
back into the woods. And then with Ted DiBiase, he was like, where are my people to introduce me? I was like, oh, that's our time, Gino. Let's go.
yeah. And even him, because I moderated his panel on Sunday. I think I only got to ask like maybe 2 or 3 questions, and he just ran with it. Man, he had some really long, thought out answers, and there was like 10 minutes left after that third question. I was like, okay, let's take some questions from the people, and there's a couple of questions we got in before he had to go back to his booth. So yeah, these guys, most of them are very good storytellers. So
Yeah.
don't miss out. Don't sleep on their panels. Their panels are usually really entertaining.
No, and it was exciting because you also get to see from a fan's perspective too. Because, like I said, with the with Damon Clark, and you know, just to hear what, you know, different fans had to say, like especially when they're asking questions that may stomp them, because I mean, they're not thinking about this thing. So when you ask them, like, would you prefer to voice a villain or voice, you know, a good character, and they're like really thinking about these things because
Yeah,
they're like, that's weird. So I always thought it's like, and it was the younger kids that were hitting them with these questions that they didn't anticipate.
yeah, yeah. I mean, every once in a while you get one of those questions where you cringe. You're like, oh, don't ask that. But a lot of them were really thought provoking questions that, like you said, these guys had to kind of think about it. They're like, wow, never been posed that question before, and let me think about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they get tired of the same old questions too, like,
Oh,
just like, "What's it like being a part of Dragon Ball?" "Oh, good." I mean, the
in
check
issue,
page,
yeah, in episode 21, when you did this, it was awesome. What were you thinking?
like, read the line.
Yeah, I was thinking, this is my job. I got to read this line.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was quite a few from the Ted DiBiase one that we did that, and it was just great to see even the younger kids because there was an individual there that was with the son, and they had the world title, and the fact that the son, it sounds like the dad told the son a little bit about him. So then when he asked questions, I'm just kind of like, okay, you're 10 years old and you know more about him than I do, but okay.
Bringing the kids up right.
I know that's in 10 years, that will be me and my son. Be like, okay, go ahead and ask him this question quick.
Yeah. Sit down, son. Let me tell you about Ted DiBiase.
And let me tell you about the time that I met Ted DiBiase and then and then I got to moderate his panel and we kind of nerded out. And by the way, nerd out moment, when he's done and we went to shake his hand to tell him thank you, I turned to Gino right away. I was like, Gino, we just shook the Hall of Fame ring. And he's like, we did. So
I'm
I mean,
never
when he
washing this hand.
I really was like, I'm never washing this hand again. Walk outside and it is pouring. I'm like, well, I
Damn it.
guess wash the hand for me. Somebody give me a Ziploc bag. Oh man. So yeah, no, we were, oh man, I tell you, Troy, we were nerding out so bad. And it was just it was awesome, man.
Yeah, well, that's why we try to cover all the genres we can. Like I was telling you before, because if we go too heavy in one genre, somebody's gonna be bored.
Mhm.
Like if we brought in 6 voice actors, nobody else, guys like you and Gino would have been twiddling your thumbs, going, "Oh, this sucks. This is dumb."
Yeah, but
So
one thing you also added was Rad Retrocade.
yeah, they were another one of our sponsors, and they sponsored the costume contest. So we had their banner up on the stage the whole weekend. So that banner's been in a ton of pictures, and uh, yeah, like I said, the costume contest went over like gangbusters. And another thing, surprisingly, was the trivia contest. In El Paso, we would get maybe 4 or 5 teams enter. We had 18 teams enter the trivia contest. We barely
Wow.
had enough room in there for all of them. So I was really happy about that. And some of these guys know their nerd trivia. So I'm really happy.
Oh man, it was overall great experience, great time. Like I said, man, and you mentioned the rad background. It's in every photo, it seems like they are everywhere.
They got their money's worth. Definitely.
Even I did at one point, because when we were asking questions, Jackie took a photo of me, and it looks like I'm gazing into Ted DiBiase's eyes, which I said, "Thank you, Jackie, for getting that photo." But why do I look like we're like in a romantic novel? Like we're staring at each other.
Well, in your mind, I'm sure you were.
I I mean, no, I was cool, but I was like, "Jackie, this, like, really turned into, like, a kind of you kinda gave me stalker vibes, but I appreciate the photo." But I just look like I'm like, "Hi."
She caught the bromance.
She really did. She really did. Oh, man, but
Oh,
yeah, Las Cruces Comic Con, definitely, it just was a great time, everybody that went out there, and it was just cool, man, even here at work, just hearing different people's takes from it, what they took away from it, what they liked, what they, were excited to see, what they didn't expect to see. I heard a couple of kids say that they were excited to see the cars outside. You mentioned, someone
yeah.
even asked me, "Which one would you take home?" I was like, "Whichever one they'll give me for free."
Yeah, that's a hard choice 'cause they had some nice cars out there. They even had a McLaren and a Lambo.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what model of Mercedes that was, but yeah, I'd put it in my garage too.
It's like, it's the model that would look good parked outside of my house. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were some, and like I said, the line was long for like 3 or 4 hours. It was
Yeah.
snaked around through there and down the back of the parking lot. And we got some plans to kind of alleviate that next year. We're going to do, instead of a VIP party, I think we're going to do a launch party
Mhm.
where Friday night you can come and pick up all your badges and stuff. And that way you don't have to wait in that line. And we warned people that you don't
Yeah.
want to wait in this line. The line was a lot longer than we anticipated, but we hustled and got them in as quick as we could. It's just people just kept coming and coming. It's like it never ended
Yeah.
until I don't know. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock before that line actually got to where you could see the end.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
man.
not complaining. I mean, I loved it. They showed up, and I'm just glad that it wasn't too hot out, and I'm glad that the people were patient enough to wait.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a great time, something for the whole families. That's another thing too, Troy, to see the whole family come out. I mean, yeah, you had your, individuals that came out with friends, but you were seeing it was a family event. Like they brought the kids out and the kids, they wanted to dress up. They wanted to be just as much into it, man. I tell you, it felt like home, Troy. It really did.
Yeah, well, kids love to dress up. They love that, and there's a good percentage of adults who like it too. So if they can, they kind of use the kids as an excuse for them to dress up.
It
Which you don't
was
need an excuse. You don't need an excuse, man. Not at Comic Con.
Yeah, no, and it was crazy because Jackie and I were even saying, so, with the busy week that we had, and then come Friday, we literally are sitting in the studio like, we didn't even, like I mean, we had talked about it, but, like, we didn't even think to get something ready and, like, to dress up for it because we were just so ready to, like, "Okay, we need to be out there, we need to do this." Like, this was our chance to like, hey, let's dress up as this, or even tell everybody else that like, oh yeah, that's right, we could dress up, huh? Like, okay, like so, yeah, it'll be mandatory. I think I could talk to the boss and say next year it's mandatory. You must dress up to be at Comic Con.
So does that mean Adams Radio Group's already signed up for next year?
I'm down. I'm down uh, if if they're down.
Yeah, we're ready for it. Yeah, like I said, this year was to get our feet back under us again. Las Cruces is a different demographic than El Paso They respond to things, somewhat the same, but also different. And like I said, we weren't sure if people were going to show up. And like you said, this is your first con. So
Yeah.
now next year we're going to go into it with a lot more knowledge as to what to expect. So I guess I'm telling everybody next year we're going to blow it out. So be
Yeah.
ready.
It's gonna be awesome. So once again, thank you to everybody stopping by and just saying, as you guys were going in, I know there was a lot going on, and yeah, even having people just come up and say hi, and it was such a good time, man. And kudos to you and your team, man, because I saw you running around everywhere.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it was a lot, but I don't know how you didn't just fall asleep Sunday night, be like, I'm done, I'm out.
Oh, I did. I just woke up.
Wait, what's today? What's going on?
Yeah, no, I slept really well Sunday night.
Oh
I
man.
had a solid 8 hours. So
Yeah, he probably hasn't had that for the last 3 months, so oh, man, before we wrap up, we got a couple things we gotta get to. Have you been able to catch up with, She-Hulk?
I watched the first episode. Did the second one come out already?
Yes, I believe the second one is out. Gino was telling me a little bit about it. I'm behind on She-Hulk right now. He said, great post credits, so,
Oh,
obviously
really?
yeah, so, I'm taking Gino's word for it. Gino and I got into a Marvel discussion this morning, and I'm just kinda like, "Gino," I was like, "Man," I was like, we've already talked about that stuff, Gino." He's like, "Oh, you have?" I was like, "Yeah, every Thursday."
Yeah. Well, She-Hulk's been getting a lot of bad rap, and
Yeah.
the first one, I loved the first one. I think they captured the character of She-Hulk really well. And I guess the online review sites are garbage. They're
Mhm.
absolute garbage because people are going on there and trying to review bomb it. All these toxic men are going on and giving it 1 stars, and it does not deserve it does not deserve 1 stars. It was a really solid first episode. So I'm really happy. I can't wait to watch the second one. I'll probably do that today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
I yeah, leave her alone, dudes. Let her go.
Yeah, Gino said the same thing. He said, everybody's wanting this, big production, but they forget it's a TV show. And you said this
Mhm.
last week too. It's like, okay, yes, it's not going to be, Avengers type production because it's a TV show, but it's still the content is appealing, and it's got potential for a great storyline.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, and they're bringing in. I think this is the series they're going to use to bring Daredevil into the Disney Plus universe.
Yeah.
He's supposed to appear heavily in here. So and everybody. I mean, Daredevil was probably Netflix's best MCU series. That and Punisher maybe. So maybe we'll even catch a couple other cameos that are going to help launch these other series into the Disney Plus.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot to look out for. She-Hulk, new episodes come out, I believe every Wednesday? Wednesday or Thursday. I can't recall. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah.
I can't keep track of all of.
I know I just got it. And I hate to tell you right now, Disney Plus has been taken over by my little man. Because we're watching Disney Junior right now, and I can't even it's bad when he's starting to recognize when Disney does that little, the plus.
Yeah.
Once he hears that, he right away, and I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "I forgot to mute it, so
It's
he
like
didn't hear me."
Pavlov.
All between that and the Hulu when he hears the Hulu intro, he knows. I'm like,
Uh,
"My kid is gonna be addicted to cartoons. Like, what did I do?"
well, he could be addicted to worse things.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, right. So it depends on what you want him to be addicted to, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with him. I mean, we'll need to get him, more into cartoons, anime, watching some of the old cartoons that I used to watch, but we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Introduce him to some of the old school stuff.
Yeah, no, man, I have him, watching Animaniacs right about now. I'm trying to
Oh,
get him on
the new
that
or
one.
the old Animaniacs.
So we started with some of the old ones, but there is the new ones because I gotta see how it all progressed. So, but, yeah, no, that's the beauty of having kids is you get to yeah, just we're watching cartoons, but really it's for me, it's not for him.
You need to
So,
break out some Silverhawks and some Voltron.
man, Transformers, old G.I. Joe cartoons.
Silverhawks. Maybe actually, you might laugh, but I just bought the complete series of Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, off of eBay. And it should be coming here in the next day or so. and I remember loving that show to death. I'm going to see how well it held up.
Yeah, that's the best part about it is looking at these shows from back in the days. Like, okay, how did they do now that I'm no longer a kid, and see how it turns out.
Yeah, well, like I'll give you an example. Logan's Run. I loved that as a kid. I watched it like last year, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like, oh, dude, it's not catching my attention anymore. I
Yeah,
don't.
I rescind everything I said. Don't go watch it.
It's like, yeah, it was good when I was younger. Yay. Guys, if you want to keep up with us, remember you can always follow us on the socials. Keep up with Zia Comics. Troy, hit them with your socials.
We're on. I'm on the phone, so I got to find the camera. There we go. Facebook, YouTube. Wow, I got to pull back. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
That's right. Good thing you didn't have more than those, because if you had to drop the phone and
Yeah, I might have to start using my toes.
yeah, just like here you go.
Yeah. I'm not that limber. I'd have to
Yeah,
just
no,
move the camera down.
right. I know we don't want you to pull a muscle trying to figure it out. Guys, you can always follow us on Facebook, Hot 103's Big Show. Look for me on Instagram as well, Big Show FM. Joey on the FM on TikTok. Don't forget to give us a follow on the social medias. And of course, you catch us here every Thursday as we get to nerd out for half an hour and talk all things nerd, whether it's comics, movies, TV shows, and even old cartoons that we used to watch when we were young. We discuss it all. Guys, this has been another edition of Zia Comics Weekly. We'll see you next week.
Later, nerds.